Okay, last week on Tuesday we already learned about the nested loops, and yeah, we know that there are two forms. Okay, so in this case, we have the outer loop and we have the inner loop. Okay, and yeah, with this outer and inner loop, we can generate a lot of output. For example, like this one. And if you change a little bit the condition or the range, you will get like this result. Or if you change what you want to print, then it will show in different result. Okay. So the code challenge next week will be related to this part. Okay, so it's just a kind of logic whether you understand to use the nested loop or not. Now there is another kind of loops where you need to check the pattern. For example, let's suppose I want to make 5 numbers. Okay, so if you look at this one, of course you know this is 5 numbers. Why 5? Because we start from 1 and then the ending number is 6 minus 1. So it means 1, 2, 3, 4 until 5. Okay, so there will be 5 numbers. I want to show this result. So what is the pattern of this one? If it is in the first, I will print 4. If it is in the second, I will print 7. If it is in the third, it will print 10. If it is in the fourth, it will print 13. And if it is in the fifth, it will print 16. So what is this pattern? You can see that the gap between the numbers is 3. So there are 3. There are 3 and there are 3. It means the starting point is important. So if I know the starting point 4, then I can just add 3, 3, 3, 3, and so on. So I give you solution like this one. Let me check. So I give you this solution, 3 multiplied by I. So when I is 1, so I multiply with 3 and then plus 1. When I equals to 2, then I again multiply with 3 and then plus 1. When I equals to 3, then I will multiply with 3 and then plus 1. So let's see, if you run this, okay, you get the result 4, 7, 10, 13, 16. Then you need to understand the pattern of the numbers. Now let's see another result or another problem. I want to print this one, 2, 7, 12, 17, and 22. So I know that the starting is 2 and the gap between the number is 5. So I can just look at, I just make this table to make it easy. So if the count is 1, you will print 2. Okay. If you have the count equals to 2, then you will print 7. Okay. So let's suppose I know that there will be gap 5 for every of the numbers. Okay, I can just multiply with 5. So if it is multiplied with 5, then it is 5. If it is multiplied with 10, it is, if it is multiplied with 5, then it is 10. If it is multiplied with 5, then it is 15. If it is multiplied with 4, it is 20. If it is multiplied with 5, it is 25. So we know that if every of this count multiplied by 5, we get this number. And if you want to print the following number, then you can see the pattern. Okay, we can just subtract with 3. Then count multiplied by 5 is to grade by 3. So we subtract. So we can just make the formula 5 multiplied by count minus 3. So we will get the same value with the problem. Now, I have another problem. What is this? We have 17, and then 13, and then 9, and then 5, and then 1. So when I have the count equals to 1, I want to print 17. If I have the number is 2, I want to print 13. What will be the best idea to solve this one? As you know, the gap is 4, but it is minus 4. Okay, so let's just multiply with minus 4. But when we do with multiplication with minus 4, the result is minus 4. The result is minus 8. The result is minus 12, and so on. So how can we fit with this number? If we have this number 17, okay, then we can just plus with number 21. So you can see if minus 4 plus 21, it becomes 17. Minus 8 plus 21, it becomes 13, and so on. So we get this result, the same with the problem. Okay, so the code challenge next week will be something related to this kind of logic. Okay. Now, maybe the problem will be similar like this. What nested for loops produce the following output? You know the for loop. Let's see. The outer loop is 5. The inner loop is also 5. But we want to just print the number at the end of every output. So I give you the solution. Okay. So this is the inner loop. Please remember that when you want to print its line, it means this is the inner loop. If you want to print to the next line, it means it is the outer loop. So we must build multiple complex line of the output using the vertical loop. So the vertical loop, we need to understand or the outer loop, and we need to also look at the horizontal loop or the inner loop. So the idea is the same with the problems that we learned before. If this is the line number 1, so the number of dot is 4. Okay, the number of dot is 4. If it is line number 2, the number of dot is 3. If it is line number 3, the number of dot is 2. So what will be the best number to multiply? Because I know that the gap is -1, so I will multiply with -1. And then in order to get this number, so I will just do with the addition. So I will multiply the line with -1 and then +5. Then I will get this number. If I know this number, then I do not need to print the numbers. I need to print only the dot. So, if I want to print the dot, I can use this one. For j in range 1 until 6, so I can print dot and comma and with space. So it means I will print dot 5 times. Then, if I want to print this result, this will be the best answer. This is the outer loop. This will be the inner loop. And then I would like to print it. So this is the print for the inner loop. And once you finish with this inner loop, you will go to the next one. That's it. So the first is the outer loop. And then this is the inner loop. Let me use the solution. Okay. -1 multiplied by I plus 6. Okay, can you understand this one? This one will print the dot. How many times you want to print the dot? As we learned before, if it is the line number 1, then we have 4 dots. So the range will be from 1 until -1 multiplied by I plus 6. And then it will print the dot, and for every dot, it will be printed in the same line. After we print this one, we want to go to the next line, but before we go to the next line, let's print I. What is I? I is the number in the outer loop. So if it is line number 1, I will print 1. If it is line number 2, I will print 2. If it is line number 3, I will print 3, and so on. Okay. So this is the code. So in the code challenge next week, I will give you this kind of problem. You need to design this kind of code. Now, yeah, let's have another problem. I have this code. What will be the result when you execute this code? So in the mid exam, I will give you this problem, but you cannot use computer. Okay? So you cannot use PyCharm. You need to imagine what is the result. Okay. Sang here. So now let's try. I have I from 1 until 6. So it means there will be 5 times. And then j in range 1 until -1 multiplied by I plus 6. So we know from the previous one, this will print the dot for, let's say if it is 5, then it will print 4 times at the first line. If the line is 2, then it will print 3 dots, and so on. Oh, I have another for loop here. So what is this for loop? This for loop, I would like to print the k. Oh no, I would like to print the I, but it will be from 1 until I plus 1. So I plus 1, what is this? When I equals to 1, then I will print 4 dots. After I finish with these 4 dots, I will do the next for loop. The next for loop is from 1 until 2. So I would like to print 1. Then I will print 1. Now let's go to the second one. If the I is 2, if the I is 2, then again it will print 3 dots. After it prints 3 dots, then what is it? From 1 until I plus 1. Then it is from 1 until 3. From 1 until 3, I would like to print I. What is I? I is 2. Then I will print 2, 2. Then I guess the result will be something like this. Dot, 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 dot. If it is in the first line, I will print 1. If it is in the second line, I will print 2 numbers. If it is in the third line, I will print 3 numbers. If it is in the fourth line, I will print 4 numbers. Oh, sorry, 4. If it is in the fifth line, then I will print 5. 5, 5. Okay. This is the result. So, given the code like this, you need to think what will be the best result. Okay. Now, can you modify the previous code so you can produce this output? I think this pattern is the same with the previous one. This one is the same with the previous one, but I would like to print dot. So now I do not print the numbers, but I would like to print dots. And if it is in the first line, the dot is 0. If it is in the second line, the dot is 1. If it is in the third line, the dot is 2. This one 3 and this one is 4. So how can we make the for loop? So in this case, you need to understand this is the outer loop and this is the inner loop. In order to do this one, I know that it should be a loop. And then this also, it should be a loop. Then there will be 2 for loops for the inner loops. So the answer will be something like this one. The outer loop is this one. I would like to have 5 lines. And then for the first loop, I would like to print the dot. And after I print the dot, I would like to print only the number, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then after that, I will print another dot. So another dot means this is the same with the previous one. It is the same with this one, but I do not print I just print no. So let's see. If I have this one, okay, you will get like this with slight modification. So I would like to print I, and then I give n, and then I change this to dot. So yeah, you can just get the result with the very small modification. Maybe you will ask, oh, there is 1 dot, but I just want to make it 0. Then yeah, you can just omit this one. Then finish. Okay. So you need to understand the logic, how to do with the nested loops for those problems. Okay. So in the nested loop, yeah, there are so many things we can do, and later we will learn about metrics using this kind of nested loop. We know that nested loop is loop that is contained inside another loop. Now there is one problem, new problem. Write a program that uses nested for loops to print a multiplication table. Multiplication table means I would like to create a table. Let's say this is row number 1, this is column number 1. This is row number 2, this is column number 2. This is row number 3, this is column number 3. So 1 multiplied by 1, it is 1. 1 multiplied by 2, it is 3. 1 multiplied by 3, it is 3. 2 multiplied by 1, it is 2. 2 multiplied by 2, it is 4. 2 multiplied by 3, it is 6, and so on. Okay. So how can we make this table? You can look at the example in the multiplication table. So this is the multiplication table. I would like to print the number first. After I print the number, now I would like to check the multiplication result. What does it mean? Let's see. This is the outer loop. So I would like to do the iteration from 1 until 10 minus 1. So it means from 1 until 9. And then I would like to print I. So I is the number in the row, and then it will be separated with vertical line. And then we will print it in the same line. I will do the inner loop from 1 until 9. Okay, this is another way to print. I would like to print with a format I multiply by j. So I, if it is row number 1, and then let's check with the j whether it is the column number 1. So I will be multiplied with j, I will print. So if now j is 2, the row is 1, I will print I multiplied by j, which is 1 multiplied by 2. If the row is still 1, I is still 1, and j becomes 3, so I will print I multiplied by j, which is 1 multiplied by 2. Okay, so this is the multiplication. So there is 4d. This one, what does it mean? So let's check. I will print. So the result will be something like this. I have 1 and 1, so the result is 1. 1 and 2, the result is 2. So let's say 4 and 4, the result is 16. Maybe, yeah, the space is not that good. So the meaning of 4D means we want to make 4 space. Okay, we want to make 4 space for every of the number that we want to print. So you can change this one. Let's say I want to print 5D. So if you change with 5D, so it becomes longer. So the space becomes longer. Why we need to do this one? Yeah, we need to set this kind of number. This is number with 10. And this is just a single number. So we want to make it right alignment. It means if I print 8, if next I will print 16, so I would like to know that every time I print, it will be based on the right alignment. So you can see like 4, 8, and then 12. So 4, 8, and then 12, like this one. If you don't use this 5D, the result will be like 4, 8, 12. It will be left alignment. Okay, so we want to make it as the right alignment. it is the alignment to make the result align properly. So after I print every numbers, I just print so it is going to the next line. Okay. Okay. So we have loop with conditional alternative. First, we have the break statement. In the break statement means it will terminate the loop and control the program flow to the statement immediately after the body of the loop. So a break statement is inside the nested loop or loop inside another loop, and break will terminate the innermost loop. For example, this one. I have a string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it means I will just check for every of these three. If I run this, oh sorry, I need to print this one. So I will print for every character S, T, R. If the value I found is I, then print. So it means stop. I will not continue to the next value. So there is a difference with continue. So the continue means we want to skip the rest of the code. So it means we just skip according to the condition. Okay, so I will use the same one, but now I just change the break and the continue. Okay, what is the result? You can see S, T, R, it will be printed. When they found I, when file equals to I, so I will not be printed. So we will continue. The continue means I will skip I and then I will go to the next string, which is N, NG. Okay, so you can see if I use break, then after I found I, it will stop. If I use continue, after I found I will keep continue until the end. Okay. So yeah, I have the example about test break and test continue. Let's just see this one before the learning check. So this is break and this is continue. So if it is continue, when the condition is true, so we will skip this condition. When you have break, so when the condition is true, we will stop and we will not continue to the next. Okay, so you can look at this one. So when the number is 14, then stop. We will not go to 20 because the sum is already higher than 100. For the continue, because this one is If it is 10 or if it is 11, then just continue and give the summation. Okay. Okay, I will stop this one. So please go to the class. You can do the learning check.